Okay, so we're talking about affair recovery programs that are out there and how to, just some things that you need to look for. And the one that I was talking about, with the guru, it's easy to find on YouTube. You'll go down that rabbit hole and watched so many videos from them until I started realizing what was up and what was happening, and that they were trying to draw women and clients into this rock star guru. And the comment section on the YouTube video, I spent hours in there just trying to understand women's perspectives and how this was going to make a difference in the healing. And I'm going to tell this story because I want you to hear this story. This actually is on one of the videos that's out there. Okay, so his name is Samuel, and you know what? He's put it out there. I don't care. I'll tell you, Samuel, oh my God. Someone needed to call him out. Okay, so he tells this story. The whole concept of this affair recovery program with Samuel and his wife, I can't remember her name, was Sam or Samantha, I think, something like that, Samuel and Samantha. He was a rock star minister in a very loud, large evangelical church, or he had the pulpit and he had the women hanging on him. So I grew up in that atmosphere. So I've seen that, I've witnessed that, where the minister, they go to the baseball game and you're appalled that women are just hanging on the minister. It's crazy pants. The ministers in our church actually do marriage counseling in the Baptist church that I was in, and the minister got busted having an affair with his congregational lady, and they had an affair, and I'm just come on, man, what are you doing? Okay, sidebar over. Okay, so Samuel tells this whole story about how his mentor brought him in and got him in this position in the church, and he becomes this, huge rock star minister and is just living the dream. And he has a secretary, which the secretary actually is his mentor's daughter. And so she becomes the church secretary, and they go on and have a very long affair, and they're having a long-term affair. And apparently they're doing, I hope this isn't true for you, but they're doing what they're doing in hotels, and they're doing it in his car. And we'll talk about cars later and hotels later also. But the interesting thing is that he was all the same time preaching that he was this holy roller and, get right with God and all of that whatnot, which is the common message in the evangelical religion. So at one particular instance, he and his wife, this is after D-Day and after everything was found out, and his wife and he were trying to reconcile. And what had happened was they had a bunch of kids, and he was just complaining that she wasn't there. She was busy with the kids. That's why he did it. That's why he did it. Okay. Okay. Because he was busy with the kids. So they were reconciling, and he went back to a hotel that apparently he had been with his affair partner. And when he was checking in, the lady at the front desk said, "This is the email I have on hand for you." And it was the email of the affair partner, because apparently when they checked in before, maybe he put her on the room, or he put her on, whatever, the email list, but that's what pulled up. And she said, and they said, "No, that's not it. That's not my email. You must have been here with somebody else." And so Sam was hot. She was hot. They went up to the room, and then the weirdest thing happened. Because that had happened at the front desk, they were not driving and they were not feeling themselves. And if I remember this correctly, Samuel said something to the effect of, "I need to go out for a while. So I'm going to go out for a while and you just stay here." So he disappeared for 18 hours, 12 to 18 hours. And she just sat there in the hotel room, okay, stewing about this, just sat there in the hotel room. And when they got back, he came back in, and she said, "Okay, well, where did you go?" And he said, "Well, I went down to the beach and I wrestled with Satan because I was tempted. So I spent the last 18 hours praying and wrestling with Satan down on the beach. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Samuel. No, you didn't. Are you freaking kidding me? No, you probably made a phone call. You got triggered. You were thinking about whatever, and you did something you weren't supposed to, but you left your wife in the hotel room. So, like, literally, after it was all said and done, just so that you know, the crux, the whole story is that she divorced him at some point. She kept it going with the affair recovery programming for a while, but then, news flash, they did actually go ahead and split up. I was appalled because this person sat on this YouTube video telling this story in such a way that was like, oh no, the Satan is after me, and the demons are trying to get me and take my soul, and it's not me, it's Satan, and it's the devil. So I have to step out and spend 18 hours away from my family so I can wrestle with this. And I'm like, no, you're wrestling with some other woman, and it is true. Okay, this is part of the lies. This is part of the problem with these affair recovery programs, or with just people in general, is when you start thinking about what is logical, they're going to gaslight that out of you and tell me, pardon my French, but because it is so unbelievably crazy that they think we are going to buy this and allow this, but they're gaslighting you and making you feel like in a religious-based program, the patriarchy and religion and beyond are trying to keep women in a place where we are going to be submissive. Okay, so that is another reason why I absolutely do not recommend that you invite yourself into that group. Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't learn things by looking at those videos and by understanding a little bit deeper. There was some good content there. It's pretty straightforward out there on the net. You can get this information in a lot of places. My hope and dream is that you like me and that we can work through this together, because I have your best interest at heart. When you're thinking about what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? Places like that recovery, they sell a weekend package, which is supposedly going to guarantee you that your marriage will be saved if you spend 2 days with them, and you're going to pray for like 24 hours straight. You're just going to go there and pray and talk and pray and talk and talking and praying and talking and praying and whatever. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't going to do that because I just absolutely know that's not going to work, and it was many thousands of dollars, and but a lot of people in desperate situations would be willing to do that, and so that's one reason why you have to be really very careful. You have to be careful that the person that's running that is not for the perpetrator or the cheater, because that is absolutely out there as well. It seems to me like the more Samuel talked, the more he was excusing his behavior. Well, his wife had kids. Well, she wasn't in the mood for sex. Well, she had a bunch of babies to feed. Well, there were kids, well, the church people, they all needed me. Here's the bottom line. He also said on one of his videos that he sat around and typed all night long to distraught women who watched his videos. He had to stay up all night answering comments. And his wife actually asked him, why are you up all night in your den with the door closed? What are you doing in there? And he said, well, I'm talking to women. I'm talking to women who are hurting, and I'm helping them. Okay, like literally, you are doing the same thing that you were doing when you were in charge of this church. I call bullshit. I call bullshit on that company. I call bullshit on Dr. Laura, who, again, drops it back in your lap and says, well, if you weren't servicing them, then someone was going to. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, here's something to take to heart. If you really are actually going to feel like that, if you want to feel like that, that is the way that they are going to get you. They're going to make it act like it's your job, and it's not your job. We are not put on this earth as human beings, as women, to be a plaything for another human. We are not playthings. We are not sexual toys. We get to have sex when we want to. We get to have sex when we want to, not because someone demands it. The Bible says we have to. Our culture in our family demands that we do it. The program that I'm on demands that I do it. In fact, that can actually turn things a little sour in the recovery, and I'll go into that on another day. But I hope this helps you. This is just a little bit of a touch into the surface. It's a pretty long video, but it's a little touch into the surface of what's out there and how to protect yourself.